We will rise again. Julian Alvarez heartfelt message to Argentina fans after the World Cup final. Following Argentina's defeat in the World Cup final, Julian Alvarez shared a heartfelt message of hope with Argentina's supporters. Meanwhile, Argentine newspapers criticized FIFA over the controversy involving Lionel Messi and Rodri. The Argentine Football Federation is also reportedly working to convince Messi to continue representing the national team until the 2028 Copa America. At the same time, Jose Mourinho shared his thoughts on Messi not being named the best player of the World Cup. Before we begin the video, don't forget to share your opinion in the comments below. Do you think Rodri deserved to win the World Cup Best Player award? And if you're a Lionel Messi fan, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this video. We will rise again. Alvarez heartfelt message to Argentina fans after the World Cup final. Julian Alvarez, the Argentina National Team striker and Club Atlético de Madrid forward, shared a heartfelt message with Albiceleste supporters following Argentina's defeat to Spain in the 2026 FIFA World Cup final last Sunday. The Argentine star expressed his deepest gratitude for the unwavering support the team received throughout their World Cup journey. He emphasized that everything the players experienced during the tournament would remain with them forever, even though the defeat and the loss of the world title were incredibly painful. Alvarez began this World Cup campaign as a substitute behind his Argentina teammate Lautaro Martinez before reclaiming his place in the starting lineup from the third group stage match against Jordan. From that point on, he delivered outstanding performances and played a key role in helping his country reach the World Cup final. Details of Alvarez's message to Argentina fans after the World Cup defeat. Alvarez shared his message on his official Instagram account, saying, "A huge thank you to all the people of Argentina for always being there with us. You kept cheering us on, supporting us, and believing in us until the very end." The Albiceleste striker then added, "We dreamed of becoming back-to-back world champions. But regardless of the final result, what we experienced and felt during these 50 days is something we will never forget. Winning is beautiful, but representing this flag with dedication, commitment, and all our hearts is what truly defines who we are." The forward enjoyed an outstanding knockout stage and reached the peak of his form when he scored a crucial goal against Switzerland in the quarterfinals, securing Argentina's place in the semifinals. What did Alvarez say about Argentina's future after the 2026 World Cup final? The Argentine star concluded his message with determination, promising the supporters that the team would come back stronger. "We will rise again, learn from our mistakes, and continue moving forward. No matter what happens, this is who we are. We know no other way to live except to keep moving forward and keep fighting for our country's flag. And we will always dream of taking Argentina as high as possible." Argentine newspaper attacks FIFA over Messi and Rodri. An Argentine newspaper has launched a scathing criticism of the International Federation of Association Football, FIFA, after Argentina failed to win the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Spain defeated the Albiceleste 1-0 in the final, with La Roja being crowned 2026 World Cup champions on Sunday night at MetLife Stadium. Argentine newspaper Tike criticized FIFA's decision to award the 2026 World Cup Best Player honor to Rodri. Tike wrote, "How can a player be named the best player of the World Cup when his own coach substituted him in the most important moment of the tournament?" The newspaper continued, "In the 99th minute of the World Cup final, with the score still 0-0 and Spain down to 10 men, Luis de la Fuente decided to substitute Rodri, the same player FIFA would name the best player of the World Cup just minutes later." Tike then added, "No one substitutes the best player in the world in a situation like that, especially not for a player like Zubamendi, who had never even played in a World Cup before." The newspaper also wrote, "Yet, in its attempt to avoid controversy, FIFA ended up showing a lack of respect for one of the greatest legends this sport has ever seen. Defying every assumption based on his age, Messi proved that he remains the greatest of all time, even while competing against players who are 12, 15, and even 20 years younger than him." Tike concluded its article by saying, It simply doesn't make sense for the best player of the World Cup to be someone whom his own coach believed could be replaced, and who did not score a single goal or provide a decisive assist in 8 matches throughout the tournament. Is there any explanation for this? Jose Mourinho's comments on Messi not winning the World Cup Best Player award. I'm going to say exactly what I think, as I always do, and I'm prepared to accept whatever consequences come with it. There should have been only one name for the World Cup Best Player award: Lionel Messi. Any other interpretation of this tournament simply cannot stand when confronted with the facts. Let me explain something first so my words aren't twisted or misunderstood. Rodri is an outstanding player, and I have tremendous respect for him. His performances throughout this tournament were disciplined, intelligent, and hugely influential within Spain's system. But this isn't about Rodri or his quality. The real question is about the criteria used to choose the best player of the entire tournament. And when you apply any objective standard to this World Cup, you always arrive at the same conclusion. Messi won the Player of the Match award in 6 of the 8 matches he played. Stop for a moment and think about that number. The very same people who evaluated every match chose him as the best player in 3/4 of the games he played. Yet when it came time to hand out the biggest individual award of the tournament, they reached a completely different conclusion. That contradiction is what I simply cannot understand. 8 goals and 4 assists. 12 direct goal contributions. Those aren't the statistics of a player who had a good tournament. Those are the numbers of a man who carried an entire national team on his shoulders from the first minute to the last. And he did it at 39 years of age. That fact alone should end the entire debate. To be the most influential player in a World Cup filled with hundreds of players at the peak of their careers while you're approaching 40 isn't just an extraordinary performance. It's something we've never seen before in the history of this tournament, and I don't believe we'll ever see it again. I spent years trying to stop Messi. I built game plans entirely around neutralizing him. So I know firsthand, not just in theory, what it means to face a player capable of destroying everything you've built in a single second. That's why, when I watched what he did in this World Cup, I wasn't watching as a spectator. I was watching as someone who truly understands the magnitude of what he accomplished. Let me explain why he deserved the award more than anyone else. Argentina reached the final because of him. That's not an emotional statement. It's a cold tactical analysis. Anyone who watched their matches knows how many times he was the difference between elimination and survival. He became the solution in games that seemed lost, and he created the decisive moments in matches that were incredibly tight. Take Messi out of that team, then honestly tell me how far Argentina would have gone. That's the definition of the best player in a tournament. Not the player who performs well in an already great team, but the player who makes his team better than it actually is. Then, in the end, a decision was made that seemed to suggest one goal in extra time erased everything that came before it. That isn't judging performance. That's rewarding the final result. And those are two completely different things. Individual awards were created to recognize something different from team trophies. If they automatically go to players from the champion team every time, then individual awards no longer serve a purpose. Just hand the trophy to the captain of the winning team, and we can all stop pretending. There's something even deeper I want to say about Messi in this tournament. What truly separated him wasn't just his numbers, although those numbers alone would have been enough. What separated him was the fact that he always appeared exactly when his team needed him. When most players disappear because they're afraid of taking responsibility, he demands the ball. When a match seems completely closed, he's the one who opens it. This isn't only about talent. It's about an incredibly rare personality. And that's what makes him the greatest player I've ever seen in my career. I've faced the greatest players of the last 20 years, and I say this without the slightest hesitation. I've never faced anyone like Messi. No one has ever forced me to completely rethink my game plan the way he did, and no one has ever made me feel that everything I built could collapse in an instant. I'm not attacking anyone personally over this decision. Those who voted have every right to their own opinions, and I don't question their intentions. But I do believe this award, in its current form, has lost part of its meaning. It has become an award for the best player on the championship winning team, rather than the best player of the tournament. That's why I say very clearly that Messi deserved it more than anyone else, without any real competition. Not because his name is Lionel Messi, but because every objective criterion points directly to him. The statistics point to him. The Player of the Match awards point to him. His impact on Argentina's journey points to him. And what he achieved at his age makes the case even stronger. The only thing that gives me a small sense of comfort, if there is any comfort at all, is that history isn't written by the people who hand out awards. History is written by what remains alive in people's memories. 10 years from now, no one will remember who won this award. What they will remember is a 39-year-old man who carried an entire national team to a World Cup final and delivered one of the greatest individual performances in the history of this sport. That's the real award. And that award isn't decided by a vote, nor can it ever be taken away by anyone. Leo doesn't need another piece of metal to prove anything to anyone. His legacy is far greater than any trophy or individual honor. Ironically, it's the award that needs Messi far more than Messi needs the award. Giving it to Messi would have affirmed that the honor still stood for what it was created to represent, recognizing the very best, not simply rewarding the champion. The issue has never been Messi. The issue is an award that missed the opportunity to honor one of the greatest players football has ever witnessed throughout its history.